All right, folks, this week you can win a fantastic copy of Plastic Soldier Company's new board game, Britannia. You can play 1,000 years of warfare across the British Isles in a massive strategy game. We're also going to be checking out the latest in news and Kickstarters for all of your hobby goodness. The weekend starts here.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Weekender. Remember to be in with a chance of winning Jerry's amazing prize.
Oh yeah,
1,000 years of battle. All you have to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, because when we get to the 100,000, I'm going to explode with excitement, and we're going to do a big giveaway as well. So like the channel, subscribe, post a comment. We'll pick a winner at random from you lot. And if you can, why not share the channel with a mate or something and get them to subscribe as well? That would be great. And it gets us to the 100,000 quicker so we can give some shit away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stick it on your Facebook and smash that big thumb.
Sign up your older female relatives. You'll be surprised how little the demographic kicks in for 70 and 80-year-old women with us.
Yes,
So,
we need more grannies.
Yeah,
okay?
because they've got loads of disposable income with their pensions.
Yes. So, and we don't care if they're glamour grannies or soda bread baking grannies. We kind of like them. Or sausage stew making grannies, like I had. I missed my sausage stew making granny. So, you know, all grannies, welcome to OnTableTop. So send them our way, and we will look after your grannies for you. Granny babysitting service thing.
That's it.
Anyway, we have launched a slow grow league. It's called the PathOfConquest, and we're all getting stuck in. And what I'm going to do now is announce that Milestone 2 is not here yet. Relax. We're playing the Milestones because it's the first virtual slow grow league we've ever done. We are keeping things flexible, okay? So Milestone 1, we've now decided is going to take 4 weeks, okay? We had kept our options open if you guys rattled through it quickly, and if we were able to rattle through it quickly, that we were going to bring Milestone 2 in 2 weeks after Milestone 1. But we think that's a bit tight because like we all have busy lives. We all have other things that we're trying to do as well. So we reckon Milestone 1, well, we don't reckon, I'm telling you now, is going to be 4 weeks. So that means you still have another 2 weeks to get your Milestone 1 stuff together, and then we'll head up with Milestone 2. That kind of suits me because I'm running behind a little bit, but it's because...
Wait a minute. You think you're running behind? I was chatting with Jerry off camera, and I said, "Well, how's your Conquest stuff coming on?" He's like, "Oh, it's going great. At least I thought it was until I realized they built all the wrong stuff."
Oh, no!
I just plowed into the box set and went, start a box. Brits, there are Brits in here. There's an executioner, he's in there, and then 2 units of these drones. Great, smashing. I'll just go ahead and make them. And then I sat down and went, oh no, Vanguard. I should have built 2 units of Vanguard. On the plus side, I'm now ahead for future milestones.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Well, I had the problem of basically because I'm trying to work out a process to make it easy to do all of this. So I had started building and then got distracted by the basing side of things. I'm now fairly happy with where I'm going to go basing wise. So then I went in and I started to do some test paint schemes. I'm now happy with the test paint scheme that I've got so far, but I now have another 11 guys to paint and another 12 guys to build and paint and 3 cavalry units to build, paint, and design the bases for. But I will get there as it rattles through. Yeah. It'll get easier and it'll get quicker. So milestone 1, and we'll know this for the next one that we run.
Oh yeah.
if you
leave a
weren't,
good chunk there for that initial milestone.
if you didn't watch last week's show, go and check that out because Warren did to show off some cool 3D brace stuff that he's doing. That's well worth a look. If you're not sure what we're talking about because you just jumped into the middle, if you come on over to ontabletop.com, you will see a big banner. Do you see this big banner here?
I do.
If you click that big banner, you'll be taken through to the Conquest section on the site, and you can see all the videos and things for the little milestones that we're working on and the progress and interviews about the lore, all the goodness that you could want to get you stuck in. Start about here. This is a really good video that'll get you stuck into the actual lore. Brilliant.
So all is good. I tell you what, Jerry, either me or you, next Friday we'll do another little update because my my cobblestone bases has actually worked out really rather well. Okay, hang on, wait there 1 second. Just wait.
2 hours later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're not finished yet. I have to actually do the proper paint job on them. Okay. But I just wanted to show you another wee thing that I had worked on. Okay. I went ahead and actually. Woo,
You can't see them.
I know. I'm trying to. Bugger. It's stuck. Why are you stuck?
Skip him.
Did you magnetize them?
He's
did.
used extra strong magnets on that
think I
one.
must have put a Superman magnet in that particular one. Goodness me. Right, there we go. So I drilled through the base.
Why do they look like goggly eyes?
Drilled through the base to put little magnets in. And then, as you'll know, I found washers that were exactly the size of the bases.
Yes.
And we hear this satisfying click.
Yeah. That explains the
fix.
offset magnet.
Yes. So I offset the magnets, and the magnets are actually pretty darn strong too. So
Too strong for you, so you couldn't even get it out.
yeah, well, so yeah, very pleased with that. And
12 seconds later.
here is one of my first dudes. This is my
Get away. That's the one John painted, and you're just passing it off.
no, it's mine. and if you go on to the, I do post from time to time in the one of the Facebook groups to do with Conquest, and I try to drop into the Conquest Discord. We have a Discord for Conquest as well, so I do try to drop little bits and pieces in there. You'll know that whenever you see a close-up picture of it, you'll know it's not John's. But I really enjoyed painting it, and again, just contrast.
I seen John's contrast tutorial for the spires, and I really wish that was the one I was going with.
Yeah,
but you'll see that next week because there's plans.
I tell you what,
so
that man can handle contrast paints. Like what he does with contrast paints is pretty mind blowing. He's really, really good at working the contrast paints. I'm learning a lot from just watching him, and he's getting better all the time. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm still slapping it on like it's like it's emulsion, but it works.
The thing about contrast paints is it's an experimentation phase. It's not like regular paints where you can look at it and go, I know roughly, pretty accurately what color that will be when I stick that on. Whereas when you've got your contrast paints and you're looking at them going, I can't really tell what color this is going to be when it goes on the miniature. So you end up having to do loads of tests. Like I'm working on tanks at the minute. I haven't actually. Well, actually, I used some contrast, but then I ended up painting over the bits of contrast I was using on the tank because it's like it's good for the men. If you want to know more about that, come watch XLBS. It's good for the men, but for the tank, I was like, I want a little bit more control over knowing specifically what color this is kind of come out at because I was looking very closely at a reference of a tank, going, I want this to be that sort of color.
You need to make your own reference board at home. Yeah,
but I do love contrast paints. Oh, well, you see, I keep doing something stupid. I make myself a little board like this, but then I keep spraying over it like a dipstick. So I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we got like an extra sprue in miniatures and you could just paint the sprue and go, oh, that's the color before you tackle your miniature?
Pretty much that, yeah.
There's find
a few of them online.
A really good PDF that was released by a hobby store recently, where they had went through and done tests on bases.
Yeah, the texture bases with the,
and they did it on the different primers, on 3 different primers, and they did heavy coat versus light coat. And I think they also did mixed with medium versus not mixed with medium. So if we could find that, let's get that in the show notes, because it's very much worth having that. So,
Is it similar
I
to
will
the
drop
stuff?
it in.
Is it similar to the stuff we set up in our own store? When you walk in, there's loads of Marines in different colors and stuff. Is
Yes.
it like that
yeah,
sort of
they
thing?
did it on bases, yeah, and photographed it all. Whereas ours, you walk in and you see just loads of clippy Marines, all with the sample color schemes on them to see what they look like. So
Yep.
it is funky. Anyway, it's not too late, and in fact, never too late, to join us on our Path of Conquest if you want to come along for the ride. It's an expanding and growing slow grow league. It's taking place all over the world. You just work at it from the comfort of your own home, which you may end up being stuck in as this winter continues to progress. But you feel free to join in at any point that you feel like, okay? And then we can always, you work with you. We don't mind people coming behind other groups. You just work at your own pace. You create a project, you're going to win, unlock achievements, you can win some prizes. And like I said, it's also active on some of the Facebook groups and in Parabellum's own Conquest Discord server.
Coolio. Seems like a good time to plug ourselves. If you need your
Yes.
stuff to get started.
Oh yes, and of course, yeah, buy merch. Yeah, if you want to get some cool Conquest stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. I've got to say, it's the overscaled models are really interesting. It's very different. It's as it's all coming together, man, it's starting to look impressive. I'm looking at a rank and file of 12 of these badass militiamen, and I'm going, ooh, that is badass. They look like they can do some real damage. So I'm kind of at the opposite end of this end of the scale, the spectrum here, because most folk will know I love my 15 mil, okay? But I'm enjoying these dudes as well. I really am. Certainly that big epic bulkiness of it is got something going for it, I've got to say. Right. What's next?
Well, it's the most important part of the show.
It is. Jerry, do you wanna say it? Go
It's the Indie of the Week.
Such a different tone. Huh?
I love it. Indie of the Week.
How does a man that big go so high?
I don't know.
Go.
Who is the Indie of the Week, Jerry?
It's a delightful set of miniatures from CP Models.
Never heard of them.
Well,
That's
check
why
this
we're
out.
here.
It's every week.
Enjoy.
Okay. See,
So-
oh my God. That is awesome.
And
Why have
what's-
I not heard of them?
I don't know. They keep themselves to themselves. They don't get about much. But if you look just below that picture of lovely sci-fi like Marines, you'll see the scales they do. Now, there's nothing in 40 mil, so don't go too bad too quickly. But 6, 15, 20, 25, 28, and 32 are all brimming with stuff from sci-fi to historic to fantasy. It's a brave new world. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start small and go big? Go big or go home?
Let's start at the small end,
You want to
and we can gradually grow it as we go through.
Yeah.
Right.
So the 6 mil is mostly for their sci-fi, so good for all players of Epic or people who want to play things like Star Grunts, Hammer Slammers, things like that. There's a unusual selection of aliens and alien fighting type people. As
6
you can see there, 6 mil, God's own scale.
Yeah. I think I need to get another few years under my belt before
Before you drop. It's like every decade you drop down a scale one.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
So 6 more years, Jerry. 6 more years, and I will be 6 million.
Yeah. But there's some really nice, cute little sci-fi vehicles. Those looks like the Mystery Machine have landed in the future somewhere. And
It looks
stuck an
like-
R2 unit on top.
It looks like the Mr. Machine has mated with the Back to the Future car.
There is a disturbing thought for all and sundry.
Scooby snacks. Where we're going, we don't need Scooby snacks. Oh, what are they? Yeah, they're like flackworms.
Flackworms.
Yep. I
So
don't
you
want
know
to eat them.
you don't want them exploding all over you. The sci-fi characters are quite cute from the 6mm front because there's
Have I missed them? Is this them or where am I going?
see the 6mm ranges sci-fi characters just underneath.
All right, here we go.
That's
Yep.
the one. Yep. Because you see them all in all their wondrous glory because they've all got names as like proper old school website will. You know,
Yeah.
who do you want to order? I want to order Colin or Michael or Samantha or Debbie. You know, you're not ordering 00151-A.
Does Debbie come with an Alsatian?
If you're lucky.
Where is Debbie?
Debbie's just a name I picked out there, so I don't think there is actually a Debbie in there, although I wouldn't be surprised. But you'll see there's various types of distinctly sci-fi and at the same time unusual, one or two that could fit the job as Space Marines or
there you
Hero
go.
Guard.
That's the 6mm.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's move on.
15 mil.
15.
What are you going to tell us, Lloyd?
Well, there are
I'm not
your
gonna
choice
tell
of
you,
ranges, and you can see again there's substantially more for the sci-fi, but there's 15mm moderns, Warren.
Yeah, I want to see the moderns and I want to see the sci-fi fantasy. So, are they mummies?
This is for pulp adventure. If you want to play some 15mm pulp Indiana Jones style games on your tabletop, then you can indeed get yourself some little 15mm mummies.
Oh, I gotta get some of
Pulp
that.
lists.
Stick that into your Flames of War stuff and play Indiana Jones, raiding flipping mummies.
Play a
and stuff.
Weird World War in 15mm. Break out the Conflict 47 and rescale it for 15. And as we've seen before with Conan and Burning Sands, 15mm on the tabletop is great for playing pulpy little sci-fi or pulpy little sort of semi-RPG games in a very small space. The Cave Imps are, particularly Cave Imp. The fantasy range,
cool.
I love the witches.
They're nice.
Yeah.
Oh, they're really nice.
Yeah, there's a set on Flying Broomsticks as well, which if you haven't seen them, you should have a little poke at those.
Hold on. There's so much
You've
here.
opened all the
I'm
windows
going
again.
to simplify this, though.
So let's go into 15mm fantasy.
Yep.
Right?
I'm in the fantasy. Here we
Right.
go. Let's leave these
broomsticks.
ladies here.
Oh,
You know, why would you not?
and how much are they? Click off there. Do we see the price?
Oh, again, take your Flames of War stuff at 15mm, get some witches and do bread knobs and
Bed
broomsticks.
knobs and broomsticks, baby. So £3.
£3 for six of the finest witcheries you can get.
So once again, Jerry, this is like not spending money.
Yeah, no, you're saving money by buying these.
And
the Yeti / troglodytes. You know, there's one who looks not dissimilar to how I look when I get up in the morning.
Jerry, they do look surprisingly like you.
I'm glad I've got the hair
Wonder
back
you were
today
telling me.
rather than strapping all around me.
Frogs with weapons.
Who was this? I quickly looked at them. These are like gnomes or trolls.
Trolls.
Oh, wait a minute. We got some painted ones down here.
There's a gallery section in here, but like last week. So you'll see painted versions. Kirk,
right, scroll down.
The galleries.
I think that's the end.
No,
That's the end.
if you go over to the sidebar, Lloyd, is these hidden links possibly in the sidebar? So we're so fantasy. So that is the 12 results.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it just breaks it down. So do you want to have a look
Go
at
to
your
the
moderns?
moderns. Let's see the moderns. Okay, what has he got in there? So, Bravo
Special
2-0.
Forces, Taliban,
That's Andy
Crimea.
McNabb's lot.
Yep.
Mhm.
So this is ideal for what you've been playing about with recently with your 15mm moderns. And if you want to move out of the Middle East and into Eastern Europe, you could do that. But there are Middle Eastern sort of Taliban fighters in there.
Yeah.
Along with the spec ops to try and take them out. That handlebar mustache on that gentleman with his
This
beret on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Toodle pip.
Here's
There's
your
the
Taliban.
Taliban fighter.
Mhm.
And as you would expect for 15mm, do the job lovely. If you want to start building some more technicals up,
Oh, I love these.
mix and match with what you have, bit of diversity. That's quite nice. RPG guy there as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, just Swish Pie. Yeah, he is pretty cool.
Mm.
Let's see. Who have we not seen here? Let's scroll
Haven't seen
down a
the
bit.
Oh, you're still
CIA
you're into
operatives.
the private
And then
contractors.
into the private contractors. That's for your 13 hours kind of thing. Benghazi.
There's a particularly large, what appears to be some
Very
sort of saw.
Yeah, wouldn't want that shooting at me.
No. Brutal and brutal deluxe.
And
And your private contractors and mercs.
sunglasses and the caps on.
Sunglasses and baseball caps.
Cool. These guys are going
Recreate
to
all the best of 1980s action cinema on your tabletop in 15 mil.
Right. Okay. 15 mil. Now we'll go. Let's hop up. Will we go to 20 mil?
We can go to 20 mil, yeah. This
Yeah.
I thought would be good for Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's have we
I'm
look.
covering every bases in here because he only really
Ooh.
does a couple of different ranges. But considering you're thinking of 20 mil for your World War II anyway, Lloyd.
For my tanks. Look at this.
Is that a 20 mil tank, Lloyd?
Yeah, that's 20 mil right there.
Mm.
I'll give you
So-
a size comparison. 15, 20. So let's see
Wow.
what we've got.
So ideally, and this is broad spectrum. I mean, the civilians are great because you rarely get them in 15 mil. You rarely
Yeah.
get them in 28 mil. There's a whole bunch between casualties to people actually alive and
Yeah,
kicking.
maybe we'll skip the dead ones.
Oh, no. Dead piles of dead ones lettering my tabletop. That's the way to do it.
Well, we'll start off with them alive first.
Yeah, well, we like that. Well, sort of,
I like his jumper.
yeah. No, it's very nice. And it's +4s.
What on earth?
That's a pile of casualties.
What's this piles?
Well,
Is that guts?
Nah, it's like robes and stuff.
Rose.
Oh, I gotta get me some of these
Old grannies.
Soviet era peasants.
with bombs inside in their
Could be.
prams.
Could be that. You don't want to show casualties off, but you're thinking about running a bomb-filled pram at a line. Is
Well,
that
you
what you're
know,
saying?
it's the second time grannies have come up in the show.
It's
Yep.
true.
This is the granny
It's
episode.
the granny episode, apparently. But you can go on and on with this. You've got your Cossack dancing Russian. There's particularly nice, but there's like down pilots and all sorts. I mean, just the sheer variety of civilians for the 20 mil is great because you could start to not just dress your tabletop, but set out little specific scenarios.
Yeah.
Cool.
And those World War II Arabs, you could also relocate them into a modern setting.
Yeah, there's
Could do,
not
yeah.
much on them that will tie them to one particular. I mean, a rifle's a rifle.
Oh, here's the Italians. Is there anything in there? Oh, there is stuff in there.
Yeah.
I was
Don't
expecting
worry,
there not
there's
to be
plenty
very
in
much
there.
in the Italians.
It's,
So
it's
there you
great
go.
if you want to start playing your North Africa. You're sorted. Don't really
Yeah.
want to play south of France. You should be less sorted if you're there.
But I want to play an army that actually wins once in a while.
Sometimes the Italians did, when the Italians weren't bad. It was just they were ill-equipped and badly led.
Exactly, which caused them to lose.
Yeah, but there are plenty of times in North Africa when they were part of a combined force with Germans or German officers leading them, and they went right through the Allied lines like a
They-
dose of the salts.
They did have the cutest tanks, though.
Well, yeah, they did.
Auto
That's true.
Belinda.
All the wee tiny tankettes, amazeballs.
Auto Belinda, man. 1 gear forward and 5 reverse gears.
Good
It's
good old
perfect.
Fiat.
Let's do it down pilots. Here we go. Handy Hawk.
Uh-huh.
Plenty of crews, plenty in there. And like I say, things like that for scenarios or objective markers in games.
Right, let's
Very
kick up a
interesting.
scale.
Mm.
Right? What's in the 28 mil? Do you
There's
know what?
like-
I feel like
28 mil.
Forrest Gump. I feel like it's like a box of chocolates, and I'm never. know
There
what-
is, because that side doesn't show you, there is actually 25 mil as well.
Goodness me! And like there's 749 products in the 28 mil.
Mm.
This is gonna be insane, right?
I don't even get into the 28 mil. I'll go home.
If you go to the homepage,
Right.
and it
What have we got?
covers.
We've ancients, dark ages, historical personalities,
Yeah,
Oh, that's getting opened.
Hitler,
Yeah.
Stalin, and Churchill.
night terrors.
That's
That's
getting opened.
good, yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a horse-headed robed man barking at
Yeah.
somebody's windows.
Come on, fantasy.
Victoriana.
Yeah, if
Right,
you want
let's
to do
see.
your colonial. sort
Right,
of
so
stuff.
we have. There's Napoleon. Happy Days.
Young Bonaparte, ready to go off and fight in Egypt.
Ready to
Mhm.
get abducted by a flying telephone
Oh,
box
look at that.
and fed a Ziggy Piggy.
That's a well-made model. That's an arrogant-looking git right there. That is Napoleon.
That's a guy eyeing up his Ziggy Piggy, saying, I want that. Nobody else gets any.
At least he gets a badge at the end of it.
Kellerman. I don't know who he is, but he's an impressive-looking dude.
Let's get to the
There's
World War
Marshall
II.
Ney.
Here we go.
Here's people we'll recognize.
Oh, I'll just do the group shot. Here we
Yeah.
go. Look at that, the ultimate boy band.
That's it. Goodness me.
Adolf and the Allies.
Adolf and the Allies.
That's it. I gotta get me one of these little Churchills to go with my 15 little
Ross.
Brits.
So,
It's too
There
big
they
for you
are.
there. 'Cause
I've
he's
been
about
watching a
28.
show on the telly about hunting for Hitler.
Mhm.
In
South
and
America.
these Americans are doing this investigation to try and find out, did he actually escape to Argentina? And it's interesting, you know, because well, according to them, they believe now that there's more evidence, actual concrete evidence, for him escaping and making his way to South America than there is for him actually dying at the Fuhrer bunker. So
It's a
But then
possibility because then
you're just
'cause
going out of your way to look for evidence in the one thing versus the other.
Yeah.
Then, you know, I suppose you're always going to end up with a bias there. So, but it is interesting. Like a lot of eyewitness accounts and stuff like that, that he did make his way to South America, and he had some thing going that he was trying to do, like he was trying to, I don't know, come back for a Fourth Reich or something. I haven't reached the end of the series. And
I would go out on a limb though and say, if the Russians hadn't found his body, or if they'd found a body that they went, probably not him, I'd say they would have torn Berlin apart looking for him.
you
So
reckon?
the fact that they found him and went, there he is, and poked him with a stick, went, no, he's definitely dead, and then took the body back to Moscow with them so they could poke it with more sticks.
as you do.
Oh yeah, yeah. Why are you dead, Hitler? They say while poking him with a stick.
Moving on.
Right. So this is the Night Terrors.
So
There is a not Abraham Lincoln vampire hunter.
well, let's see. I think I've opened him. Oh no, I've opened the
Well,
link
you've
to
opened the
more
Wild West,
stuff.
or
Oh my
Weird West,
goodness.
so he's in there.
Okay, that's gonna get. Here we go. Here's a nice little selection of three things.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Let's see,
I like
Werewolf,
a vampire.
vampire, and Wombi. If you're into your Deadlands or Dracula's America.
Okay, who's next? Or what's next? There's Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter is right, yeah.
cool. Well, loads of stuff in that, but I'm gonna move on because we've got loads of things to look at here. Like check
Oh,
this
I
thing
like
out.
that. It's like a floating sci-fi brain.
Yeah, give me some of that pulp.
Brain in a jar
Uh-huh.
with a ray gun and eyes on stalks.
What is that? That is a
that's a
floating brain that has landed on somebody's head.
Somebody's head and is now controlling them. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Let's see
yeah,
the creatures.
there's a frog taking a shite. I like that. And the frog beneath him has got his tongue open, ready to receive said shite. So it's like there you go.
Yeah, he's getting ready for it.
Right here.
Getting pictures with words there. Huh?
Oh, I love them. CP Models has a thing for frogs. I approve. What is
The
it?
Doctor and the Killer Clown.
Oh yeah, we'll do these, and then we have to do the Mushroom Man.
I
The
knew you did
Mushroom
do
Man.
that. Trying to avoid the Mushroom Man.
No, can't avoid the Mushroom Man. Right.
Right,
Go on, give me the
Mushy Man.
Give them to me. Give them to me. Oh, yes. Love it.
Never happier than with a shroom.
Oh, look at that one. He's magnificent. They are superb. They need a big pink helmet, though. So they do.
They may have one, but they haven't photographed it from that direction. So as
Maybe.
to,
Perhaps, yeah, you've always
so as
got
not to worry you.
angle. What is that fish creature?
I think it's
Oh
eating
my
a fish.
word.
Yep. It's a merman. Because the other way around would be stupid,
That would be a man mer. Huh?
as we learned from the cat.
Right.
Love that. Okay, right.
There's
What's
just too much stuff to get through here.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, trying to open every picture is madness, Lloyd. Every
Uh-huh.
time you go to a new page and there's like 50 things that spinning at the top of the screen, it's never going to get there. All the Cthulhu madness and monstrosities, demonic entities.
Oh, I like these tiny Cthulhus.
little squid men?
Halfling and an octopus. An octopus.
Okay,
It's
right.
just a bundle of joy.
Hold on.
There we go.
There's bound to be some cool things. Look at the slugs.
Oh, there's cool things everywhere. You will not be able to get. This show could just be going through every page of this website, Lloyd,
Yeah.
and it would be 3 hours long.
Those fishmen are brilliant.
No, they're lizard men, are they not? Or maybe they're lizardy fish. No, I think it's a lizardy thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Amphibians,
They're kind of like
amphibians,
chameleons, amphibian men. Let's just call them
shoggoths, shoggoth on your earth. Everybody likes an eyeball-based blob.
Go get a big slug. That's cool. I don't know what I'd do with it, but I want it.
Salt.
Salt.
That's what you do with it. Just pour salt on it. Edge
Oh,
away.
got a reaper and a
Watch it
ghoul.
pop.
right.
We didn't even get to 32 mil.
You want to have a quick look at the 32 mil?
32 mil is relatively short if you can stop yourself from clicking open links, Lloyd. You
But
can't.
I gotta show us. Oh, look at this
You
guy.
can't see, and he's distracted.
Oh, look at
again.
this guy.
He's off on one.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I like
Open
these.
more stuff.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous, Jerry. You should have
This
told us
is-
about this.
I didn't
hours
tell you
ago.
to open all of those links across the top. Does
Oh.
that say at the end 28 more? Is that what it says?
Lord,
Yeah,
you're going to have to
something
go and
like
buy
that.
another bucket of internet to fill up the tanks here.
I know. We're really crushing it here. But where do you see this? It looks
Oh,
like Ben
oh,
from Foreground
oh,
with an extra arm.
That is Ben from Foreground. Oh, it's magnificent. Oh, wow. I want an entire
Oh, God,
army
got
of
some of
those.
these two-headed jobbies. That's cool.
They're very much the classic Chaos Dwarf where they've just gone wrong.
Yeah.
Very, very wrong.
That's weird. Oh, we didn't even get to the flipping ancients.
Oh, God.
I told you.
Right. Well, let's give the ancients a rest. Right. Let's have a quick look at the 32 just to see what's in there.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So 32s.
Oh.
So, like I said, there's not much in here. There's only 2 British Expeditionary Force, and the majority being the
Some
SS and
German
Russians for
yeah.
Kharkov, I think.
That's still cool though.
So BEFs with rifles.
32 mil. Wonder if
So
Dust flares, perhaps.
1/48th would be closer because they tend to be chunkier. So there are people who do run stuff in that scale. So a bit bigger than your average bear. Nice sculpts nonetheless. The
there's a
Russian
few more
and Germans
Oh,
in
there's a
here
lot more
on the
Germans.
Eastern Front are really nice.
Would they be the
Everybody-
same size as the paratroopers that we have in?
Yes.
Yeah.
They'll be the same size as that. So a bit bigger.
Just
Yeah.
that slightly bit bigger. Yeah.
And it would work for anybody who's wanting to expand out maybe a Dust Army or something, because it's like 148,
Oh, yeah, it would
Yeah.
work well for dust. Yeah.
132.
Okay.
For
Do-
32 mil.
One last thing, Lloyd, I want you to hunt for. Right?
Is it the ancients? Look at the ancients.
No, it's not the ancients.
Stop
You
opening
sure?
links.
Look at the ancients.
Stop. Stop it,
I'll
Lloyd.
just give you a quick glance. Oh, look at this.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. Loads of donkeys. I want them. Right, okay.
Okay. Go back to the homepage.
Yeah.
Right. Now click on them. I want to see where those sci-fi guys are because they're magnificent.
They don't click.
So let's see if we can track them down. So let's
Right.
go into 28 mil, and then let's look for
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi, and then let's
There you
see
go, the near future troopers.
troopers.
Where? Oh, I see them. Yeah, here we go. Oh, we're gonna have that big brain. Oh, greys!
Stop it.
They've got greys. I've been after greys for years.
Calm down, Lloyd. Calm down. Focus. If I see more than 3 links appear, there'll be trouble.
They are flipping fabulous, though.
Hmm.
one-piece metals, Jerry.
Time to print that massive spaceship from the previous week and start being chased by a xenomorph through the middle of it.
I would love to do a sci-fi army with those, a 40k sci-fi army with those guys there. You know, go in with some real badass dudes.
They look tremendous.
They are amazingly good. Love those.
Oh, look at this guy with his big gun.
Yep.
Come get some.
Sweep and clear.
Bring
That's
on the
key.
pain. Right, show me the grey aliens, Lloyd.
Right,
You're
let's
too
do
nice
that.
to him. Oh yeah, they're open already.
Yes, yes, this is what I'm after. I've been after aliens greys for years. Oh, these are getting purchased.
Oh, they've got clothes, Lloyd.
Don't remember that computer game where you played a grey and you were having to bring destruction to
Destroy
a
all
town,
humans.
Destroy all humans.
All humans,
The one with the fedora hat on looks like he's just stepped out of that.
Oh, this one's a total Roswell jobby right there.
Yes.
He's like the one that was on Alien Autopsy.
God, I remember that. I remember that was a thing.
Alien Autopsy brought to you by Anton Deck. Oh, they got like a leader dude. This are getting bought. Because like these would be great against your future soldiers.
Yes.
It'd be great against any soldiers. Because you can stick aliens in any time period.
There's somebody cosplaying as a member of Starfleet.
That's
Yeah,
it.
red shirt there.
Oh, zombie
Zombie
aliens. Some of that's getting bought. There's another page.
Okay, we'll have to see.
One last page. Oh,
Jerry.
yes, space helmet jobbies.
What I really should have done was split this over the course of several months. This week, the India of the week is only the 6 mil.
It's
Uh,
all right,
people.
fellas. We can just get rid of some of the news. I gotta get me these. These would be great because I've talked 2 or 3 times about wouldn't it be cool to have like the humans invade Mars and the Martians fight back
yeah.
and take it the other way rather than the Martians invading Earth for once. But they're the humans invading Mars. Oh,
In Teslas.
so good. In Teslas. That'd be awesome.
Right. Enough, guys.
Oh,
cpmodels.co.uk. Flip me. Just go and get lost in it. Right. It is time for the news. Coming to you from the center of Northwestern Europe. Covering board games, war games, card games, and all that you love. It's the news. Right, guys, it's time for the news. The big one. The big one this week, Jerry. HeroQuest kind of launched.
HeroQuest is kind of back-ish.
It's kind of back-ish.
Yeah.
So we've all been watching a countdown for the new HeroQuest from Hasbro and Avalon Hill.
Yeah.
We've all been glued to this countdown within the Cult of Games Discord. People have posted it every day to remind us that it is coming. And then it launched.
With more of a whimper than a bang.
It
I
went
think.
pretty much as I expected it, if I'm being honest. I'm
Right.
not raging. I'm not annoyed because I'm just not surprised. Firstly, it's US and North America only.
Yep.
Not surprised by that because I thought it was going to be one of these Hasbro Kickstarter jobbies from the Hasbro Plus or Pulse. So I fully expected that anyway. So I wasn't surprised whenever it became region locked. I wasn't surprised that the artwork got upgrade.
well, let's get that
I
up on
don't.
screen.
We can have a look over it. I am a huge fan of HeroQuest. You might even call me a super fan of HeroQuest.
I mean, there's the overall box. We've got some things
Yep.
down here, but I'm going to open up a particular link, which is good because this link here on the actual Pulse, you can start opening up stuff big. Like here is the box.
So there it is.
Actually,
right?
I've got an even better picture of that artwork here.
Mm-hmm.
There's your art.
Yep.
What do you think compared to the original?
I prefer the original, but I far prefer the original. Like, look at that. It's just the face, you know, it's that sense of danger of that's cartoony. But that's my take on it. You know, it's look, these things are all subjective, you know. I've always loved that piece of art. You know, that piece of art to me is Dungeons. You know, that's more iconic to me than anything Dungeons and Dragons has ever produced in their entire epoch. This piece of art has always been special because this is what inspired all of my internal mechanics and visions of what a dungeon is, and that sense of being surrounded. You know, that sense of this is it. We've got to fight our way out of this.
Yeah.
You know, the barbarian front and center, and you know that look of frustration slash panic in his eyes. You know, it's, you know, it's there. It resonates. Like, look at that. Like, just look at that. You know, and then compare that to the ubery high resolution version.
It's very World of Warcraft-esque.
It's really cartoony. I was watching who to come. Oh, I keep forgetting his name. The Bard, the guy who did like a really popular unboxing video.
The bardic dude.
Broadcast.
And he was looking at the countdown before the stuff had gone live, and he was making some predictions, and he was talking about the artwork. He was saying, well, based on that, this is clearly going to go, I can't remember what way he termed it, but, you know, a more cartoony, less realistic art style than this.
Yeah.
But I haven't really...
That's only the art style on the box.
Yeah,
the art style on the cards was never particularly realistic anyway.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know. But this set the scene.
Yeah.
This set your expectations for what the game was. This helped paint the world in your mind. And then the cards just supplemented it. This is painting your mind now. This is painting the entire world. I mean, I like the wizard and stuff, and I like this, but the overall art style is not as cool as this. And the dwarf is really static looking compared to this one, who's just about to chop that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very video game. This is essentially what that is.
It's again, it is what I expected. You know, it's you look. What were you going to do? You're going to bring back HeroQuest as a modern version, so you're going to bring it back as a modern version. You know, you know. Look, at first glance, it absolutely looks like HeroQuest. Okay, I suppose my issues are nitty gritty kind of vibe kind of things. I'm not a massive fan of the way the elf has been portrayed. I've no issue with the elf being female at all, but I'm not a massive fan of the pose of the elf in the artwork, and I think I would like to see that change before the game is released, because, you know, everybody else is in proper action shots.
Which this artwork on card
artwork there, right? So the dwarf, yes, although static, is in full attack mode. The barbarian is doing what the barbarian has done for the last 30 years. The wizard is in full attack mode there. That elf looks like posing with a blue thunder or the blue steel. And
I guess let's have a look at the original art. Oh yes, the elf was definitely going to kick some arse there.
I'm really disappointed.
Going to attack the dwarf from the back.
I'm really disappointed. You know, because this is the thing. Like, if we talk about representation and stuff like that in gaming, you know, that's grand. But, you know, there's no reason, male, female, whatever. That elf should be there to kick ass, not standing in what looks like a contrived, weird kind of model kind of fashion pose. Like, go back to it. Maybe I'm overthinking it, you know, but you know, it doesn't look like that elf is engaging with anything around it. You know, it's
more noticeable on the cover than the original, though.
Yes, yeah, but the other one tucks it away.
The other one's under an armpit at the back. You don't even know there's an elf in there fighting. For all I know, that's about to attack the dwarf from the back. Whatever that small pink goblin is.
It does look a bit like You know, if I was playing the elf, that's probably what I'd be getting ready to do.
Yeah, well,
Stab
makes
the,
sense.
stab the
Stab,
dwarf.
stab
and
the
take his gold.
dwarf.
Stab the dwarf.
Yeah, I just like it. It just, I think the elf in the new artwork is.
I think they're just trying to make them all more prominent.
Yeah, but I suppose you could that elf could actually be swinging a sword towards some of them bodies that are creeping up behind her.
I
They're
think
trying
they've
to portray
changed
the
how the elf
magicness of it.
plays.
Because you
well.
can clearly see like potions and things like that. The elves far more
Sword and
magic
magic
in
now.
this.
No
Yeah.
bow and sword. No
Well, we look at the
ranger.
minis. Well, we start to look at the minis
Yeah.
because look, some of the things that we knew that would have to change. The art direction was going to have to get an upgrade, and the minis were going to have to get an upgrade because there's no point in bringing back the old minis. They're lovely. I love them to absolute bits, but they're not by today's standards. So they were another thing that was going to get.
Well, that
upgrade to
they
today's
couldn't bring.
standards.
They would have had to throw money at GW to bring back the old minis.
Why? GW don't own those designs.
Are you sure?
Or the, like
Milton
the
Bradley. Milton Bradley
Well,
owned that product.
like this guy, where is he? This guy here literally is a Chaos Warrior.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but-
this is the reason I think GW own the designs, because there's other changes in here, not just aesthetic changes, but actual figure changes.
Yes, but I think that's more out of a courtesy than a legal obligation.
I think it's solely down to legal,
I
because
don't.
they've dropped the femur, which GW still sell,
Well,
and
Jerry,
replaced it
let's
with
be
fishmen.
honest. Yeah, let's be honest. There's a number of reasons why you would drop the femur.
But they've replaced it with
You know,
something much worse.
Just
They've
never
replaced it with a
drop-
fishman.
I never dropped the femur. That's my
So-
favorite character.
Yeah, it was great. So the bog trotting Cyclops is gone.
Mm.
But the design they've gone with is much more of a World of Warcraft, which, if you're looking to get kids to play board games, they know the elf from Warcraft.
Yeah.
because they've probably played it.
I just don't think. I think loads of people are talking about GW this, GW that. I'm fairly certain GW have nothing to add on this, and I had nothing to be consulted on any of this, because this IP, whenever GW handed that over to Milton Bradley bought that package.
See, it
Okay.
was but I thought it was co-produced between them
Uh,
at the time, because both
Nope.
names were on the box.
They might have had their name on the box,
Yeah.
but it was owned. All of that was owned by Milton Bradley, as far as I'm aware. So it's I think most of this is to do with kind of just upgradey kind of stuff. Because here's the thing: if Games Workshop were so concerned about femurs, Games Workshop haven't produced a femur in 30 odd years as well.
They released 4 or 5 of them last year through Forge World.
Femurs.
Yeah, they still sell
Oh.
them through Forge World,
Oh, in the
and
Forge World.
and
I
that's
stand
why
corrected.
and that's why I think that the sculpt designs
Mm.
got tweaked, and the fact that they've replaced the
Here we go.
femur with fishmen.
Yeah.
Finally found that artwork.
Abominations, they're called.
Yeah, they're fishmen.
What I don't like is I hate this Japanese RPG sort of styled massive weapon thing. It just can't stand the whole massive weapon thing that's
love it.
leaked into video games. It's just dopey.
And I mean, all of those, if you were to put those in front of a World of Warcraft player, they've probably got all of those. That
Yes,
elf,
they will resonate with the
that
World of
elf
Warcraft player. They
screams
absolutely
Warcraft.
will.
The dwarf as well, with the big square shoulder pads on it. They look more in keeping with, like you say, a sort of a Japanese styled RPG than the sort of the HeroQuest of old.
And the spikiness of it just doesn't appeal to me. Like, how spiky is that barbarian? Even though that's all fur, it's really spiky. I don't know. I'm a bit of a grognard here on this. This art style doesn't sing to me. But then I'm not the demographic, I guess.
No.
Not anymore, Lloyd. Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see. What else? What other minis? So let's look at the actual minis. So there we have what was previously the Chaos Sorcerer and the Gargoyle.
So I think he's called a witch priest now, or witch mage, and the gargoyle is still a gargoyle, although his delightfully whip-like Balrog type affair has gone the way of the dodo in place of a big
Yeah.
axe, which would probably be a bit more solid anyway.
I think so.
I
They're
mean,
decent enough models,
Yeah.
Jerry.
yeah, overall, these are both good upgrades in my opinion. I like both these models.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like
Maybe-
you're going to be hard
yeah.
pressed to say any of these models are not as good as the old ones. You could prefer the old ones.
Yeah,
Absolutely, you can prefer the old ones.
when we get into the orcs, it becomes like they're just too spiky for me. The overall, yes, overall the minis are better, but I don't like this. Like, look how spiky that is.
The art direction.
Yeah.
That's very World of Warcrafty orcs.
Oh yeah.
as
Oh,
well.
incredibly so. But then they know
I like
there's
'em.
like they know there's 14 odd million World of Warcraft subscribers.
Mhm.
So, if you're looking for an easy step from computer game to board game, make it as familiar and recognizable as possible.
The mummy's grand. Is it just a one pose though? Is that repeated over and over? Is it?
Yeah,
At
I
the
think
moment,
so.
yeah. They're
Is
they're
that
not
something?
going massively out of the way. There's a few things that change with the characters and the like, where they've got alternate versions, but in the main it's just one pose, move on. They may, because they have stretch goals, because this is being crowdfunded, because Hasbro.
Oh, we'll get to them in a second. I have shit to say. I like the artwork on the back of the
Hold on.
cards. Actually, I think it's
Just before we move on, here's the other
the female variants of the heroes. Yeah,
and the
female
male
/
variant.
male variant of the heroes. Yeah. So essentially, if you back this, you get 8 heroes, 2 of each.
Yeah.
And one
Which I
male,
really
female.
do hope, if this goes to retail, that is in the retail box.
Yeah.
I really do.
No, well, that isn't. That is specifically unique. If you want them, you have to back the Pulse now. They've said that is exclusive to the Pulse bonus. So it is going to retail, not with those though.
So
why-
basically, all we're saying is that if you want to play a female character, it has to be an elf.
Has to be the elf.
That
And to be
is
fair,
utter
how
nonsense.
can you tell the difference with an elf anyway?
Yeah, well, this is it. An elf is effectively androgynous anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like I think that's a ridiculous thing to do. It's
But why have them exact carbon copies as well? If you're going to have alternate characters, why? It literally is exactly the same
Yes.
miniature, just with the
Yeah, it's
gender
just a
change.
female version. Yeah.
Why do that? Why not make a different looking miniature for the fun of it? What's the idea with having an exact carbon copy?
At least possible.
Like, here's the wizard.
You
may as well not bother. The wizard could be anything based on the way he looks at the minute there.
Yeah. It's the path of least resistance.
It is the path of least resistance, Lloyd. It really
Seriously,
is.
all they really had to do was change the artwork and the models, and then that was them. So
yeah, and if you're going to go down this idea of like, okay, here's your female, and here is your male character, give him a beard. Give him an actual big long wizardy beard.
But here, do you know the great thing about that is that's a throwback to actual HeroQuest, where in the artwork the wizard had a mustache, but in the model
yeah.
he didn't. So
paint it on yourself.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Probably
see.
not.
Now we
Right,
can come
so,
into the card.
Yes, have a look at that there. That's some nice artwork there, I've got to say. I like this. I really like the elemental artwork as well on the spell cards. I'm glad that they stuck with the ready line art kind of stuff on the inside. I think that's a nice touch. It's a nice nod to the previous game. But check them out. Aren't they lovely?
There, swish.
So Dread is chaos for anybody that's wondering. But I like the elementals. The elementals look powerful there. Really powerful. I like that. I really do like that. Lovely, lovely piece of art, that.
Let's see what's on further down. Oh.
So component-wise, the other big upgrade, obviously, is, well, 2 things of interest. One, they rotated the board a little bit, which I think actually, whenever I looked at it, I thought, oh, that's a nice idea.
Let's see. What do you mean they rotated it?
So HeroQuest used to go along the long edge. But so
this
now,
bit.
yeah, that used to go along the long edge. Now they've put that on the short edge. And that actually makes a lot of sense. Because then you have your
screen
your
elevator,
VM
yeah.
there, and then you have your room for your other 4 players around the rest of it. It makes a lot of sense. I wish I had thought of that when I did the custom HeroQuest board. So,
would have made life much easier.
It would. It certainly would be. It would have been a nice touch. The 3D furniture.
I'm trying to find the 3D furniture. Maybe I can see that further down on this page.
No, I think I'll just rotate again. If you scroll down there, yeah. And keep going. The 3D
3D
furniture, again, that's modern innovation. The fact you don't have to print card components to make it work. And again, it's
the furniture's grand.
Yeah,
the furniture's is lovely. It's as I expected, and once again, it's a nice throwback to the original designs, but upgraded a bit. And I'm very happy with that. I had a chuckle at the rats and skulls being included. I did have a chuckle at that. I wonder, will they do that on the little cream frame? So it's I think there was a little brown frame of the rats and a little cream frame for the skulls.
For the skulls,
if we
so
remember.
you can stick them onto your alchemist bench. And
so let's get down to so look, all in all, right? You have 2 pledge levels. You have a $99 pledge level and $150 pledge level, and the $150 pledge level gets you 2 expansions. I think that's all right.
And a 5th
here
character.
Ragnar or something.
No, Ragnar's the prisoner who was always there. He's an exclusive. There's a warlock as a player character, so a new class.
All right. Nice. If I could back it, I gotta say I would likely go in at 150 just to get for the completeness of it.
But it's a big if you could back it.
If I could back it.
And it's one.
You say this is region locked. Is this US only then?
US and Canada.
Canada, and its territories.
Right. Here's where I'm starting to go. Oh, hang on a second. Right. So you get the Warlock hero has been unlocked by Shona Nakasone. I butcher names. Apologies. Which is a cool character, right? Another $200,000 later, you get 6 extra combat dice.
That's like $200,000.
Yeah. Now wait, Hasbro. I'm only going to tell you this once. If you felt the need that 6 extra combat dice was ever needed, it should have been in the box from the start. Right? If you think the game plays better with 6 dice, don't be assholes and put the extra 6 dice in the feckin' box, because having dice as a stretch goal is bollocks. If they'd been upgraded dice or fancy dice or something like that, grand, I understand that, but that's just more dice. So if someone in there in the game design thing thought, oh, well, having more dice makes this game easier or better to play, it should have been in there, right? Your stretch goals are a bit of a disgrace in that sense. Let's get back to them, because it just, there was very little inspiring. No. Another $200,000 later, you get 2 extra skeletons. Another $200,000 later, you get 2 extra goblins.
Well, it says extras. Is it the same sculpt or is it a different sculpt?
Same sculpt as far as we're aware.
Oh.
And then another 200. So, and when this raises 2 million,
you get a bold book. Amazing.
You get a quest book by Stephen Baker. Now, Stephen Baker was one of the original writers on the original HeroQuest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like, to get Stephen Baker's stuff, it's $1 million has to be reached before you get that. Those stretch goals are as uninspiring stretch goals I think I have ever seen.
They're very spread out.
To be honest, I don't actually think they even care about the stretch goals. They just put it in because people expect it on a crowdfunder. So, I think they're expecting to hit the 2 million, and they were already working on the principle that they'll put those things in, and therefore to make it look like there is actually some reason for people to push. Then we'll just make up a set of stretch goals, because 2 extra skeletons, and 2 extra. I mean, by the time they've doubled the $1 million goal that they have, you're getting 4 extra models and a 5th character.
Well, yeah, it sounds like it sounds like you're talking sense there, Jerry. That this stuff's originally in it, and then they just carved it off and went, "We need stretch goals. Just stick these to the side.
Yeah.
There's your stretch goals." And that would be your gripe about the dice, Warren, is they originally did design it with the 12 dice, and then thought we'll just carve the 6 out.
Well, all this is
possibly.
We've got to remember here. This is a giant kick in the balls for every toy shop within their distribution, right? So any toy shop in the world who stocks Hasbro stuff, which I would imagine is the vast majority.
Quite all of them, yeah.
Just got a giant kick in the nuts from Hasbro, because instead of just making the game and distributing it out and getting it into toy shops, which we know they're very capable of with the deep pockets that they have, no, they came to do it as a crowdfunder. Fine. Okay. You do it as a crowdfunder. But then you take a giant shit on your backers by having the most unimaginative stretch goals that I think I have ever seen. So what does that mean then? Where does that leave us? Well, that leaves us with one conclusion. Hasbro are just cashing in the name of HeroQuest and and that's it. It's like it'll sell itself.
Yeah,
nothing new brought to it. Really, nothing new brought to it. Game mechanics are identical.
How do you know? How do you know the game mechanics? But how do you? It looks like they're identical. Is that been clarified? Is they are?
They've clarified that the game mechanics will be a mixture of the US and UK release.
Yeah, because I know. Because I like what you've been doing, Warren, on the Sunday. On the Sunday we have an XLPS show, but Warren's been going through doing his own version of HeroQuest rules, souping them up. For now, we're 20 years in the future or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And where you're going sounds a lot more exciting than just dishing the same set out.
Yeah, HeroQuest. I look, uber fan talking here, but even I'm willing to pop my hands up and say it's a shite game, right? It is a shite game, and and I hear you. Oh, but it's great for kids. There are other games that play a lot better and are great for kids. However, although it's a shite game, it's a shite game by today's standards. It was amazing 25 years ago. It was freaking amazing 25
years ago now.
30 years, yeah, right? So don't get me wrong. 30 years ago, it was incredible. We've now moved on. This, if it was going to be the next gateway kind of game to suck them all in, it needed to be in the toy shops, and it needed some degree of a rework or an upgrade of the rules.
No, I think it will go into the toy shops, simply because they have stated that some things like the stretch goals, the Pulse bonus models are exclusive to Pulse. So post this in November, whenever it will go into toy shops, it will go into retail. But again, it's only doing that in North America, Canada, and its territories.
Right. Hang on one second, right? Bear with me.
It's only going into retail in the same territories again?
Yes.
Because I was looking at this going, okay, if you fund it in these territories and then release it worldwide, you're not kicking, you're not really sticking it behind a wall for all toy shops and things, because the rest of the world can sell it.
And as toy shops in America right now will go, oh, that's great, Hasbro. Thank you very much, considering that you have already sold it to 8,299 people, point one, at least.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it'll be a worldwide release after that then, because
a German miniatures website, Bruckenkopf, contacted them, reached out to Hasbro and went, what's the crack? And Hasbro responded with, we're not looking to sell it outside of the US or North America before 2022, if at all. So it'll be 2 years, and then they may just go, nah, still not happening.
Right.
2022? They're just
But-
asking for a load of knockoffs versions to be kicking it out.
It's not even knockoff versions. Scalpers will be having a field day with this.
Good point, yeah.
Anybody wants to buy it for their kids in London? Excellent. $500 and it's yours, mate. That's all that's going to happen here. This is a license to print money. If you can stick this on your credit card now, you'll treble your money, quadruple your money whenever it hits release.
So there's no point in me being excited about this
No.
at all,
No.
essentially.
Although
Because I couldn't even get my hands on it if I wanted it.
if you want
But
to
to be
feel bad,
fair, though,
you can feel bad for the Canadians because apparently Hasbro are charging $135 for the postage. That's on top
For the postage!
of the
but
postage.
the postage.
It'd be cheaper
the
for the
border.
Canadians. Yeah,
It's
cheaper
just
for the
drive-
Canadians just to drive down
Yeah.
and pick it up.
Just drive across the border and to the post office to say, that's mine, thank you very much.
Somebody said clearly Hasbro haven't even looked to see what the cheapest couriers are. They've just went that one. That's who we're going with.
It's insane. It's
135
such,
quid.
They're gonna end up needing a wall along that Canadian border to keep all these HeroQuest backers out from scalping their copies across the border.
You know what it's? I don't know. Is it like the Skunk Works in Hasbro, which is what Pulse effectively reminds me of, a kind of a Skunk Works? Is it only inhabited by interns?
I don't know.
You know, is it just a bunch of interns that have got together and pulled this all together? Because it has that smack of it's good, but not quite there. There's something, you know, it's something like it's not fully thought through. You know,
It's B
not,
team.
The other way to
it is
look at
very
it
B
is
team. It is very B team.
this shows that it has legs, but HeroQuest has a base that will pick it up. And
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the 9,000 odd people who have pledged are all probably our age group or older who played it first time round.
Getting it for their kids, man. Getting it
So
for their
they'll be getting it for the kids, but then it means when it hits retail, when it hits a toy shop in a year's time, as a gateway game, that will be a kid who plays Warcraft in with mum and dad and then seeing it on the shelf. They don't know what it is. They didn't play it 30 years ago. They haven't a clue what it is, but it looks like something they're familiar with, and then they'll pick it up. So I think it will hit sales and it will hit retail. Yes, Hasbro are carving a massive chunk right off the get-go, but that's all the nostalgia hounds who knew it was coming and were hitting F5. A lot of people would have looked at this and went, no, I don't even know what
fair
that is
enough.
or
The
care.
casual
So,
players are probably not
Yeah.
in Hasbro Pulse on this one.
It's
Yeah.
true. I mean, what did you say? There's 8,000 backers or something like that.
Yeah, but by my rough calculations, 8,299.1. Nope, 0.3.
ish.
0.5. 8,300.9.
I mean, it'll still sell in the bucket loads because there's like 328 million people living in the United States alone.
And they should all buy a copy.
It's selling abroad.
And that,
Look,
that isn't even Canada. Canada's what?
You know, look, I'm really glad to. I was over the moon whenever I saw HeroQuest returning, as were a lot of folk in the community, just over the moon. And the vast majority of it doesn't surprise me. I understand it went to Pulse. I kind of expected that. I was glad to see some of the artwork changes, and other artwork changes that didn't appeal to me, but it didn't put me off. You know, I just happened to think that the old stuff was grittier, it was more dungeon. But hey, I understand why it is. What the only bit that got my goat up was whenever I looked at the stretch goals, the cynic in me thought, right, you are basically just bending folk over now.
Yeah, it's not
That
exactly
is not on by a company that didn't need to crowdfund this in the first place. You know, that's a double insult. That's taking the gauntlet and slapping me not just once, but then slapping me twice, and then inserting the gauntlet. And
Yeah.
I don't like that.
pictures
It's not
with
bad.
words.
We have really got
Outside of a Friday night, but yeah.
we have really got to the point where crowdfunding's just not being used in the spirit of what it should be anymore.
There is no reason whatsoever for Hasbro to have crowdfunded that. If they were thinking, well, we needed to know whether it would sell or not, yeah. So what did you do before crowdfunders? You ran a focus group. Believe me, you would have known that it bloody sold.
But the thing
You would
is,
have known
if
that
I
it-
was in charge of Hasbro, I'd have probably done it as a fundraiser too. Because the thing about the fundraiser is the fact that people are looking at the countdown and all that stuff, it's just become a new way of bringing things to the market, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
And it creates a lot of hype. For example, it's all about the hype train. For example, video games, for example, you used to see big advertising campaigns for months before a video game released. Now it releases digitally, and then there's a sporadic boom. Here's all the advertising right now at the point when it's been released, because the way people purchase has changed so much, and now we're into the realm of Kickstarters changed the way our market purchases stuff. So I guess you kind of have to go that route.
That's a fair point, Lloyd.
Even though it doesn't feel right. That's the way the buyers
I can live with that. I can live with that until the stretch goals. I'm.
They do feel tacked on / half-assed.
It's a fail, a massive, gigantic fail. Those
like
stretch.
a dragon would have been cool in a stretch goal.
Well, you can't really fit a dragon in here.
There's a big room in the middle. Just plop it in the big room.
Maybe a baby dragon.
A tinsy-wincy one.
A dragon egg. A dragon egg. Anyway, do you want to see some good minis for HeroQuest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, let's leave this behind. Okay.
Leave it on the wave behind.
And we will see. And now let's take you on a journey of something HeroQuest wise that you must see. So some months ago, there was a Kickstarter ran by Zealot Miniatures called The Twisted Catacombs, where they had alternate sculpts that just happened to be beautifully HeroQuest inspired, sculpted by Boris. And Boris is amazing. Where do you check out these, Lloyd? So,
oh, hello. Oh, yeah.
No,
he's got a beard.
He has a beard.
He has a beard.
So let's go down and have a browse through the minis, Lloyd, because this is going to brighten your day. Check out this.
Yeah. So
now look at that.
Sitting for a little while and feverishly waiting for these to come out.
I suppose.
And this week passed. They went. We're reaching that. I think we're down to the last 20 last week. Or the week before, they said we're down to the last 20 Kickstarter packages to send out. Next week we'll be releasing them for retail.
That's cool. You could buy you could back the new HeroQuest and chuck all the minis on eBay and then just replace them with these.
Oh yeah. You'll probably need to chuck the minis on eBay to replace them with these, because if you want to get the range, it's not cheap.
Oh my god! So the complete.
Oh yeah, that's not cheap.
Yeah.
No, that works out at £7.50 on average per model.
Yeah,
which isn't bad for a resin model, and they're all sculpted.
Click on that one there. What's extra? One of everything from the Lichmere.
I'll let you know what that is, because I got an email that mine's being posted today.
45.
All right.
This is what you dived in on there.
Oh yeah, I just won't give me everything. Yep.
Holy smokes!
In my defense, I was left unsupervised.
Yeah, clearly
there wasn't anybody here to stop me.
Jerry's been out of the office too long.
You see, Jerry, my wife has me terrified to the point that I could never do that. I could never get away with it, man. It's like
hashtag no dependence. But the miniatures are just an absolute joy, because they do take that HeroQuest standard look, and then Boris has given them all his little unique twist. And when you see things like the mummy particular is just
hold on, do you get the mummy, Lloyd?
Just spectacularly mad. There's the mummy there, and the weird sort of screaming nonsense that's going on with it is particularly fun in itself. But you can see through it in places, which is something you couldn't do. I will open it, but
I think I've melted his website. So
I wouldn't be like you. That's because you like to open every link in one go.
Yeah.
So yeah,
here we go.
The amount that they've done is substantial, because they've covered not just basic HeroQuest, but you could also use some of the things for the expansions for HeroQuest. I don't even have HeroQuest to play anymore. I just got them because I really like Boris's stuff and must own it all, apparently. But each one was a little thing, and they can all be bought individually. You know, you don't have to go mental
Yeah.
You can just go, I really fancy picking up a set of orcs. So I don't know how some of these things have translated from the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter had alternate weapon arms and stuff for the orcs and goblins, so you could change them up slightly. I don't think that. I think it's just you get what it comes with style.
Yeah.
So there were maces, there were swords, and I think there was even a wheelbarrow for one orc to be pushing it around in the Kickstarter, which I think was just a little Kickstarter exclusive type thing.
Nice.
This is a shame, but I can always convert one myself. That's why God invented balsa wood. I like how the skelly doesn't have a bottom jaw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed that fell off.
Yeah. One of those things that's going to go away very early on. Poor manacled fellow. But they're just as a hero or whatever for any army or any RPG you want to play. The set of 4 evil wizards are particularly good. They come with standard round slotted bases or these rectangular HeroQuest like ones as a choice.
The only square bases I'll ever accept, Jerry.
Yep. Spare Warrior's lovely. He looks like
do you know what?
He looks like he should be offering Indiana Jones a career.
If it had met my 2 conditions, one is unfortunately I do HeroQuest custom now, so I only do it at 18.
Oh yeah, 18 mil.
So if I could have got it in a smaller or got it as STL files, great. And secondly, I would definitely need to seek permission from the wife for this one. But they are gorgeous. They are definitely on a I would love it list. Because it just Boris's sculpts are just incredible.
They're outstanding. If you go to page 2, it should start throwing up some of the more weird and wacky stuff beyond the things like that.
See?
So
why would you get rid of that?
Mm-hmm.
Look at it. It's a maze ball.
He's so cute.
He's missing the ball on the end of his tail, though.
Yes, but that just got in the way every time he's trundling through the dungeon.
Rattling off the walls.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Love his weapon.
When you say it like that, it's very similar to an African throwing dagger for all you fans.
Is it really?
For all you fans of weird weaponry out there.
Uh-huh.
I quite like them because they're triple bladed, so they can generally always hit point first. You don't have to be particularly technologically savvy. Oh, there's the weapon swaps and stuff. You can get them separately.
Where?
But the Yeti, have a look at the Yeti, the Frost Gremlin and Frost Horror, because they're just insane. And if anybody,
the new tabs won't work, so let's have a quick look at the weapons.
If anybody doesn't know Boris's stuff, he's worth checking out on Facebook because he does a lot of the ink. He does ink sketches, and you look at it and it's like a weird wispy thing, and you're going, yeah, it looks fantastic as a sketch. You'll never be able to make it. And then you see like a wizard with this incredibly tall peaked hat disappearing into nothingness, and you go, all right, no, you actually were able to do just that. With these ridiculous robes and beard, the big warlock sitting on his throne, I suppose, with I think his beard is coming out from beneath his robe, but they're just insane.
What are these?
Yeah, the ogres, Lloyd.
The ogre expansion.
Yeah, the ogre expansion.
Yeah. And again,
look at that face.
They are boutique resin sculpts.
Yeah.
Do you know what that reminds me of?
But you're never having to do much with them.
That's like something out of the real Ghostbusters, that right there.
Looks like Les Dawson.
Go to page 3 for me, Lloyd. For the completionist in me, I want to see.
I want to see everything.
Yeah.
There's the gargoyle, which you probably have to see. The mercenaries I remember they came in as a weird expansion. This gargoyle's still got the whip. And again, that was one when you seen the ink drawing, you're going, well, you can't make that. You couldn't fashion a whip to look like that. And then he goes in, plows out in green stuff anyway, and you're going, oh, well, congrats, you well done, Boris.
Is that cast in resin?
Yeah, that's cast in resin.
Surely that's got to be pretty brittle. Like you're never going to play with that guy, surely.
Yeah. Why would I not?
Surely he'll break his weapon.
No.
Right, what else have we got?
I tend not to drop my stuff. Yeah. Stop calling me Shirley. Dire rat, dire wolf, wolf rats.
What else have we got? So the mercenaries are in there.
Yeah.
I like these. Oh, I do like these.
It's very Rus. I know you're looking at that hat thinking that. Yeah.
I was thinking, can I squeeze these in somewhere?
No, you can't.
Oh,
For sometimes when your heroes need a bit of backup, or alternatively when there's palace guards.
What's the corrupted Minotaur, Lloyd? Go down to that.
That's just part of their dungeon dwelling thing. So it's not part of the
eyes for nips.
not part of the Kickstarter, thankfully. I may have to revisit him in the future, though. It's not the most terrifying thing on this website, though, which is still the bunny rabbit. See if you go to terrain, go up to the top, up. See terrain, click into there, fantasy. And then scroll down, keep scrolling. Is it there?
You're sending me on a journey.
I am.
A journey with no end. There's no bunny rabbit there.
No, it clearly doesn't live in terrain. I'm not sure where it lives. There's a little bunny rabbit with the cutest eyes ever. It's just so darling.
Bangs.
People will just have to go in there and start rooting around for themselves. Yeah, and you'll be happy to hear that Zealot Miniatures ships worldwide.
Oh, do they ship worldwide?
Oh yeah. Not just Canada.
And they probably don't charge $130 to ship to Canada, I would imagine. So, right, Jerry, what's next?
Okay, so after that we have what we featured at the start of the show. So Britannia by PSE Games is one of 2 games that are actually being released this weekend. So they have Roman Roll, get it round the right way, and Britannia, and they're 2 strategy games but very different in sort of feel. So Roman Roll is post Nero's destruction.
I love this.
Yeah. Because the idea is you're rebuilding Rome from scratch. You are trying to get as much influence to reconstruct Rome in your way, and obviously become Nero's favorite. And it's a dice draft game, so you have a set of dice. The dice have different things like equipment or food or so the red dice are conquered dice, I seem to remember, which are all about the soldiers. And let's say there are 3 dice or 4 dice being played this turn. You would work out what you want to take and then pass them to your opponent, and then your opponent would draft a couple, and using the values on the dice is what you use to try and build your territory. And the map up at the top is a layout of the swampy area and 7 hills of Rome. So the idea is you're going to be going in there and going, well, what I really want to do is I want to build a shrine to the temple or to the gods. And so you can put your little architect onto that and start building it. And as you build it, it's like Tetris. You mark off little, L-shaped or T-junction shaped squares, and that sort of takes your particular building and puts it on that area. Nobody else can build over it. And while you can build across different hills of Rome and into the swamps, you can't build from a hill to another hill, so that the 7 hills are distinct districts within it. And the idea is to try and build the best part of Rome you can, while cutting off your other senators and your other Roman opponents and stopping them from doing it. So it's a fascinating strategy game based on a draw mechanic and a draw mechanic. Trying to get the best things you can get. There's like 7 different styles of Roman player that you can be, so different ones have different abilities available to them. So not all strategy games have to be about killing each other, although for the next one, Britannia, it is all about killing each other. And this is like HeroQuest, another fairly old game. Britannia is originally a 3 or 4 player game, which covers 1,000 years of the British Isles. This actually contains 2 versions. So the classic 3/4 player version is in there, and then there's a faster play 2 player version, because if you're playing the 4 player game, you're sitting down for the night. You're playing this over 3 or 4 hours, more or less. The dual version brings Ireland in. It eliminates an awful lot of the board areas, and reduces the timeline as well. It's from 350, so you're more or less coming in at the end of the Roman era. But it's a really fascinating game because the mechanics are very simple. If you start the turn, your nation the first thing you do is check out your population. Has there been population growth? And then compare it to what you have kicking around in armies in the areas you control. And there's a little table that goes.
These represent armies and stuff, then, do they?
These represent different armies. There are 17 different factions in the game that appear and disappear at different points on the timeline, because you start at a certain timeline and you literally go through. So you would then go, okay, well, you might
200 minis in it.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a big Galvy bucket of them. So you would get your population and then discover that you only hold 3 areas, say, and you've already got 8 armies in them. So you might not be able to bring any more in because the table goes no. Essentially, computer says no. So unlike something like Risk, where you just keep stacking and stacking and stacking until you've got 50 armies of one area and swarm out, there's population control. You can't support more armies than your land can actually support.
Yeah, you got to feed them.
You've got to feed them. Mechanically, you move. So from one territory to another territory, and then you just roll 2 dice per army, and you just need 5 or 6 to cause a hit. 2 hits cause a kill. If, for example, you went in with 2 armies and did 2 successful hits, you'd kill an opponent army. If you went in and just did 1 hit and your opponent didn't kill your army either, you could then choose to stick around, and then you have a chance then of doing a second hit to get your army's victory. But at the same time, you could also end up where 2 armies clash, and over a couple of turns, nobody retreats and both armies end up being wiped out. So mechanically, it's a very simple system. But every 75 years is a turn, and every turn it goes, this is what happens in this period. Rome retreats.
Yeah.
The Angles and Jutes arrive in these areas. So the colors that you'd seen in that big map, even though it covers multiple factions, every player takes a color. And so you'll be going, you might be playing Romans and Picts and Normans or whatever the breakdown happens to be. And as one player's armies disappear or are subsumed, as the Danes become the Anglo-Danes and are no longer part of the invading Viking force, but actually just the residents. So as your armies change over time, what you're controlling changes. So you're constantly scoring for the player is constantly scoring throughout the game, but who you finish with may be very different than who you started with. So by the time the Normans arrive in 1066, the layout of the board is very different to how it began. So you have to be constantly aware that even though you may be sitting in what you think is a very strong position now, that may all go away in a couple of turns. So you need to make hay while the sun shines, essentially, because there's always somebody coming on board a ship to wreak havoc along the coast. And sometimes they're just raiders. So you may get a turn where Irish raiders appear and just hamstring Wales or just rampage down to London for a laugh. Whereas others will come as settlers and make more of an impact because they're not just hitting and running. So it's a classic grand scale strategy game where you've always got to be aware of what's coming next.
Nice. Right. Last bit of news, Jerry. We have the Dwarf Army from One Page Rules.
Yes. The Army of Justins, as I like to call them.
An Army of Justins?
Army of Justins.
Not a very bright army then in that.
No. Well, it depends whether or not you count the glare off their foreheads.
Oh, yes.
But this is a set of STL files that they've released. So these have gone into their store on CG Trader. It's 7 different sets of files allowing you to make pretty much any fantasy force you want to. So if you play Age of Sigmar, there are figures that will do that. If you play Kings of War, you can do a Kings of War force from it. If you want to play the One Page Rules Age of Fantasy itself, you can do that too.
Yeah.
And they've bundled them all together and slapped a big hefty 20% discount.
Good God, it is an Army of Justins.
It is an Army of Justins, yeah. So you can see there is at the back columns. They have riflemen. They have berserkers and warriors.
I'm sorry, I can't unsee him.
No, you can't unsee Justin.
I just can't unsee him.
I don't know if it's deliberate or a happy accident. But
let's try and block him out.
It's like every time you see a Justin, he's doing something exciting and new. No, you know.
Oh, here he comes again.
There he is again.
There he is.
In his rifle form.
These are amazing. Oh,
I don't know how difficult it is to change STL files. I know people are forever tinkering with stuff. Can you close their mouths? Because every one of them is so joyfully happy at being Justin on your tabletop. It's like the ages of man in Justin form. Young Justin.
It's an entire Justin army. It's just amazing.
The only question becomes, at what point do you make Justin print you an army of Justins?
Oh no, this I'm going to print myself, man. Oh, if I could get a hold of these, man. They imagine meeting Justins down a dirty old dungeon.
I noticed they're all well protected around the front.
Yeah. He knows what happens when the clippers come out. The army of Justins is not going to be caught unawares.
Oh, I gotta get these are STLs.
These are all STLs and all available on the CG Trader site from One Page Rules. So the link's in the story there.
Goodness me!
If you can get yourself some naked Celts, Warren, and do a bit of smushing together.
Oh man, that is a participation game. Everybody will want to play there, dude. Oh, I want some of them for my dungeon though. I think you're cracking into a do you know what it'd be like? It'd be like the version of Rimmer World.
Yes, everyone is Justin. That's exactly
Everyone
it.
is Justin.
Avert your eyes from her beauty. Fetch me the Justin concubine.
Where do you get them? Is this where you get them?
Oh,
So
yeah.
CG Trader. So that's them all there. You can pick the packs up individually, but if you want to get just the whole kit and caboodle in one lovely bundle, then you'll save yourself a bit of cash.
Oh God!
Even here, you can still see his mouth.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing.
Don't worry,
Justin!
you're not the only person who've seen Justin. The comment section for that story is filled with lots of people going, "It's Justin, though, isn't it? Is it Justin? Did they know Justin before they did
totally
this?"
Is him. Oh God! I gotta have these. They're amazing.
Reach out to Gitano and go any chance.
Yeah.
Any chance of an army of Justins, mate.
Just an army of Justins, please. I love it. Absolutely love
And
it.
for people who want to play at home, you can probably go back through our old videos over the last 10 years and find every one of those.
You could
beard
find every one of
styles.
those Justins. Yeah, just print screen it.
We just need to look at the start of the show. Ah!
Oh God! First person to do that, I will print you an army of Justins. Oh, the complete set. Right, guys, that's the news. We're going to take a second, and then we'll be back with the Kickstarters. Does Warhammer 40k rock your world? Check out store.ontabletop.com today, where you can save up to 20% across a wide range of hobby games, tools, and paints, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Star Wars, Flames of War, Bolt Action, and many other incredible ranges. We are based here in Northern Ireland and rated 5 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Right, guys, it's Kickstarter time. Jerry, you've got a lot to live up to. The Ben normally nails this every week that he doesn't do, like Truck Simulator. What two have you picked?
There was a long haul simulator strategy game that I was, and then I didn't. But there is one in the Kickstarter this week. No, I've decided to revisit another classic game from decades past. So, Hogs of War, the old PlayStation 1. It was like a 3D version of Worms.
Right.
With Rick Mail did all the voices.
Before Worms went 3D.
Yeah. Did Worms go 3D?
It did at one point, yeah.
If you say so. I know Worms was side on, Hogs of War was 3D, and this is a hex map strategy game based on that. So the guys at Stone Sword Games had previously done Hogs of War as a card game, but this is their foray into miniatures with it. And it's a fascinating little game.
Yeah.
If you don't know Hogs of War, shame you're missing out. But essentially, you got a squad of 4 World War I style pigs who were dropped into a random 3D environment and then would have to fight amongst themselves.
Let me see what's in the vid. Maybe that'll show us.
What they've done is they've taken that and turned it into essentially 2 mini games and then a main game. So that bit that you're just currently flying past.
Yeah.
So there's a base building, like an RTS strategy game, where you've got your base on that big hex map is a little hex, just a single hex. But then you have this that sits alongside your base, and every turn you build new buildings for your base, whether it's a barrack or an airstrip or more swill pumps and refineries. But they're all these Tetris shapes, so you've got to be able to fit them together to fill the space. So you have to plan that bit out. So it's a little cute little bit. Then there's an air attack phase where it plays like X-Wing, where everybody sets the dials on their biplanes and their dirigibles, their big zeppelins, and then reveal them all at the same time and fight some crazy dogfighty air fighting combat. And then after that, you then drop down and you play the ground game, where you've got your various types of hogs, whether they're snipers or orderlies or bombardiers, running about doing the mission. And the missions are things like King of the Swill instead of King of the Hill. You know, clever puns.
Yeah.
And it's really nice how they've worked all these things in, because nothing by itself is overly complicated. I mean, the base building bit is very simple. The X-Wing style fighting is very simple. The action point movement for your tanks and your infantry is very simple. So, you know, you've got like 2 sausage for your infantry, so they can do 2 actions.
Yeah.
The tanks are a bit beefier. They've got a lot more. Their hit points are their action points. So a fresh tank will be untouched, you know, can do an awful lot of stuff. It can move a lot. It can fire. Once it starts taking hits and starts taking damage, it becomes less capable. It becomes a bit more ramshackle, and like World War One will probably break down in the middle of the field somewhere, having done nothing.
I hope these pigs aren't really eating sausages, are they?
Oh yeah, very much so. Caught a packet sausage side. So there we have the four main factions. There were 6 in the game, so they're currently missing. There's like the sushi swine were the Japanese, and the garlic grunts were the French. But otherwise, we've got Tommy's trotters, the sauerkrauts. I can't remember, the Americans were like ham something or other, and then piggy stroika instead of parastroika for the Russians. Anyway, so you've got your 4 main forces from World War One, and the game itself can be played either as a solo game or up to 3 players. And there's they've said in the comments in here that we will see the other 2 factions. So whether that's more factions to choose from, or whether they're going to do some sort of expansion to let you play a 6-player game, is up to you. Because even in those games, you can play a deathmatch where everybody is for themselves, or you can play team games. So you can, you know, you can pair up and take on your opponents.
It sounds like a great evening's entertainment. This,
I think it's going to be phenomenal. It's been knocking through the stretch goals, like it's going out of fashion so far. I never mentioned the airship. So the planes are biplanes, and that little card dial thing shows that they go from like speed 1 to speed 6.
Yeah.
If a biplane goes at either the lowest or highest setting, it can stall because they weren't designed for it. But then you've got these big dirigibles that can trug along wherever. And to launch one, first you've got to build your airstrip, then you've got to upgrade it to have the air dirigible hangar.
You do all that up here.
You do that in the
You do that up with these building tiles. But the dirigible, you need to have an end, and you need to have a front, and then you need to have a middle before you can launch it. But how many middles is up to you. So if you want to go with 3 sections, middle, front, rear, you can do that. Or you can go, I'm going to do 6 and keep adding in like additional bomb bays or additional cannon bays.
So you're building a
super massive things. And then just send them up there and let them work away.
Black Hog down.
The game itself looks phenomenally simple, with an awful lot of scope for them to expand it. It should be very, very easy for people to pick up, because they're using color-coded dice. So you've got like a dice for explosives, a dice for rifle, and a dice for melee. And so depending on what you're equipped with, you'll go, I need to roll 2 blue and a red, or 3 green, whatever it happens to be. Then there's the main hex map with placeable terrain on it, so it's all hex tile based. And yeah, it's just a joy. Anybody who's played Hogs of War will know how much fun this game was. It's even Speckled Jim. So there are upgrades there if you want to get cardboard replaced with little plastic tokens for the various bits and builds. There was for the opening day only, which unfortunately is gone now. They did a Lord Flash Hog based on Rick Mayall's character from Blackadder as the World War One pilot, because he voiced them all in the original computer game. So even though Rick's no longer with us, it was really nice to see that they did that little special. Here he is. He's a little special pig, and if you get in early, you got it. There was no reduced level or anything for people. The cost is the cost, and you can either get the standard or you can get a neoprene matte version and then the upgrade tokens. But there's an awful lot of thought and effort has gone in to make a wonderfully simple, and yet at the same time it's got a massive amount of strategic depth for a game that is about shooting pigs.
I'm loving this.
Or setting fires to pigs. We're dropping bombs on pigs. It's very pig based.
It's nice that it's got a lot of variety of essentially mini games.
Mechanics.
All that make up the main game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love that base building aspect.
It's fascinating. And there's nothing in it that is so overwhelming that you can't play it with kids.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to get into it very easily, because I think even the base building at its core, you really have to go out of your way to build a bad base where you can't fit everything in that you want, because you choose every turn, and you get to recruit more people. You can even be clever and try and attack your opponent's base, Lloyd. And then if you surround it, they can't deploy new troops unless they're airdropped in, at which point you really hope you've built an airfield. And there are also upgrades that you can develop from your base and then use them to upgrade the type of soldiers. So soldiers can have 2 upgrades, but the upgrades are limited. And once you've put an upgrade, like maybe you design Molotov cocktails for the bombardier, once that equipment has been put on to your soldier type, like in an RTS, that is now part of that soldier, and it can't be removed or replaced. So you have to think about what upgrades you want to give what and how you're going to do it. But I was absolutely fascinated by how they've approached it. This
is cool. I'm going to have to come back after the show and root around in here.
No.
If you get a truffle sneaking pig down to the studio, I believe they sent a prototype copy that nobody told me was in there for some time.
I don't believe you.
There's a prototype, and it was like, we've got this in the studio. And so no, I didn't. And then I really wish I had.
Oh no!
So if we can dig it out at some point, and if we're allowed to meet up, we can have some little hoggy games.
Well funded.
That would be swill. Right, guys, definitely check that one out. That is super. Right, right, last one, Jerry, what do we got? So from Funky Skull Games, we have a street gang of the Napoli Boys, and this is for their Street Wars game. So anybody who's seen The Warriors will know the sort of 1970s American street gangs that this game replicates, and this is just to expand their little corner of the universe with some Italian greasers, I think is the phrase. So it's very simple. It's just a set of 8 miniatures. So to get the gang sculpted and produced along with the cards that they require, and there you can see them in all their gang glory. So obviously for Street Wars, it's perfect. But if you want to play any sort of modern or pulp game, these miniatures would be absolutely great for that as well. And they're wearing what could be leather jackets, or could be those what they call them, like the American baseball jacket type of things, the Letterman's jackets.
Yeah, you could paint this up in any sort of way, and you could paint it up that Greece went wrong.
Yeah. Oh well. In this case, Greece has
an whole faction of Rocky Balboas.
They have gone very, very wrong. And this really lets you, apart from support them and get into Street Wars, they've got some really nice additional extras that they're hoping to unlock through the campaign. So if anybody remembers that classic of cinema that was Home Alone 2: Lost in New York.
Oh, one of my favorites. Yes.
There's a mad old lady covered in pigeons.
Yes.
Like Macaulay Culkin found in Central Park. So that's one of the stretch goals, which I just think, every game needs a mad old woman covered in pigeons.
Yes.
There's a Donnie, I assume it's some sort of either high up mafiosa or a lawyer of some description. But Donnie's been unlocked already. And we've got our cops too.
Cops unlocked. So who's next? Go to the next one. Oh,
Stanley's still locked for a touch of the ultra violence.
So Stanley's in there, and the New Yorkers are in there. Yeah. There's your lady with the pigeons.
And another lady from Central Park who I don't think feeds the pigeons.
Probably not.
No, not as much. And if you want to pick up any of the previous gangs, so like the Black Cobras are there, which are very, very warriors based with your Afro Kung Fu guys and the Ghetto Lords. You can grab them for nothing because it's like £22 for a gang, and they do an all in where you can get 5 gangs for
just get the whole lot
for peanuts.
Amazing.
The St. James is looking particularly fine there.
Right. Street Wars, guys, the Napoli boys. Yeah. Thank you, Jerry. That's a surprising one. That one, I'm glad you picked that. That's
I aim to surprise.
Nice to see something like that. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Right, that wraps us up. Now, there's COVID restrictions and things happening again, so things are starting to tighten up again over here. So we're just assessing the effects of that. I won't be able to make it onto Sunday's show, but we are having a special guest onto Sunday's show over on the XLBS. So you want to tune into that. He's going to kick my ass when he hears that.
One miniature.
Right. A massive thank you to Jerry and to brother Lloyd, as always. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Have a great week of gaming.